Hey internet friends, Grace here. Tariffs, which are those taxes slapped on goods we drag in from overseas, are the source of heated debate as of late, and on April 2nd, 2025, President Trump stepped into the Rose Garden to drop a major bomb on trade. Under the Trump administration, tariffs have been pitched as America's armor, but the media is framing these tariffs as the unilateral bullying of every single country. So what exactly is the truth? Here are 5 tariff truths they can't bury from way back in America's early days to Trump's 2025 twist. We're counting down from 5 to 1, peeling back what tariffs have done and who's gonna feel the heat tomorrow. Let's begin. Number 5, tariffs molded America, then sort of mangled it. Whoopsie daisy, in 1861, the Morrill tariff hiked rates to 47%. Shielding U.S. factories from Britain and their aggressive policies. The aim was to prioritize American-made products and give them an advantage alongside American industry, and it totally worked and gave America an edge. By the year 1900, the USA was cranking out 25% of the world's goods, per historian Eric Foner's tally. But let's fast forward to the calm before the storm, America in the year 1930, when the Smoot-Hawley tariffs were imposed, marking a significant increase in tariffs on important goods, 50% over 20,000 imports. But it actually tanked trade 67% in 2 years because of the retaliatory tariffs from other countries. Basically, it started a worldwide trade war. It's noted as one of the main contributing factors to the Great Depression. 25% unemployment and breadlines stretching miles. What I mean to say is that tariffs can forge steel or spark ruin. They can truly be a double-edged sword. Historically, they've been really great for the American economy, but also they've helped totally tank it. Tariffs have built empires and they've broken them. 4. Tariffs don't just bounce off, they sink into the consumer. Rewind back to 2018 under the Trump administration. He imposed 25% on steel, 10% on aluminum, and $550 billion on Chinese goods. The tax foundation crunched the numbers on the measured effects on everyday citizens, which resulted in $831 per household, just flying right out of your wallet year after year. Cars, aluminum cans, your fridge, these things all cost more when the tariffs are imposed, of course. And what about jobs? The Fed counted 75,000 Americans losing theirs as a result. But keep in mind, and this is important, President Biden maintained Trump's tariffs on $360 billion of Chinese products, and in 2024, he quietly implemented new tariffs, increasing the rate to 100% on Chinese electric vehicles, 50% on solar cells, and 25% on steel and aluminum. But the mainstream media was largely silent on this development and the outcome. Did you notice that? Number 3, tariffs are a mixed bag. Like I said before, it's a toss-up. Let's zoom in on another country. From the 1960s to the 1980s, South Korea imposed 40% tariffs and scored a 10% GDP surge, according to the World Bank. Anecdotal? Maybe, perhaps. But here's Japan. In the 1950s, 1970s, they imposed tariffs of up to 40% on steel and car imports, which protected Japan's industry while Europe rebuilt from World War II. For a country who was decimated by World War II, Japan has one of the wildest growth streaks in history. Since then, its GDP rose 10% annually from $9 billion in 1955 to $1 trillion in 1980. On the flip side, in the 1940s through the 1950s, Argentina raised their tariffs to 45% to prioritize Argentinian business. But by 1951, imports fell by 40%, exports plummeted 30%, and inflation reached 50%. So Argentinians were promised growth through these tariffs, but they got the exact opposite. Tariffs might appear to be a protective measure, but the pages of history reveal they can suffocate a nation with equal speed.
For decades, our country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike. Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them.
Number 2, yesterday on April 2nd, 2025, President Trump unleashed a tariff storm. On April 5th, a 10% tax will be imposed on all imports across the board. The White House asserts that these moves will generate $600 billion annually. So come on, let's see who's down the worst. China was hit by a total of 54% tariffs. When you break it down, that's 34% new and 20% that were already imposed. China's been imposing a 67% tariff on the U.S. according to this chart. And all the Huns buying off Temu and Shein are really going to be hit the hardest. I'm a Hun myself, just not the Chinese variety. According to Trump's chart that he showed, Vietnam is at 46%, Taiwan at 32%, and India at 26%. The EU got hit with 20% and South Korea received 25%. Also, did you know that our greatest ally, who American taxpayers send billions of dollars to in aid and loans, have actually been imposing a 33% tariff on us this entire time? So Israel got hit with a 17% tariff. Bold. Enjoy. Yale reports that these new tariffs will cost average Americans $3,400 annually. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs predicts a 35% chance or likelihood of a recession. From where I'm sitting, recession is imminent. And we arrive at number 1. The administration claims they're aiming to undo the deindustrialization policies that have hollowed out the nation's core and created a national security threat in the United States for over the past half century. It's too soon to say if it's a 5D, y'all, chessboard flip, or if it's just a chaos accelerant. But he's definitely shaking it up, and the media is eating it up. The whole map or chart from the White House depicts a 10% baseline followed by these reciprocal tariffs. 44% on Myanmar, 49% on Cambodia. And the EU is preparing for counterstrikes mid-April. Australia's Prime Minister expressed his disapproval, stating, "This is not a friend's move." China's government has declared, "We will continue to fight until the bitter end." Whatever. China is the world sweatshop. They're on no moral high ground. But we're faced with a significant issue as a country, as the U.S. debt sits at $36 trillion, owed to the Federal Reserve small hats. So 5 tariff truths, the result of which will be revealed as 2025 plows forward. Historically, tariffs have been a mixed bag of victories, and we could say that presently a 2025 target list, as well as a global power play. Some might even say a worldwide trade war looms ahead. And all I can do is hope that America and everyday Americans will somehow prosper. That American businesses will be prioritized and will actually prosper. That we can eventually enter a real golden age and not just pretend and talk about it while so many suffer. But just to be frank, I've made 2 other videos analyzing the real estate market and economy, and I think we're in for a little bit of pain, the bottom. But don't worry, then it's only up from there. Are you willing to endure a little pain for the prosperity of your children? What do you think, internet friends? You know, I always look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, and supporting my channel on Patreon and buying my book, The Deep State Encyclopedia. Bye. I wanted to let you know that I've never partnered with any business before on my channel, but I've partnered with Atlas Bullion, where you can buy your gold and silver and other precious metals at competitive prices and with fast, discreet shipping. My family already supplements our investments with buying gold and silver here and there, which requires constantly watching the markets and buying at opportune times. But Atlas Bullion has made that super easy for y'all with their precious metal subscription services, and they'll send you deliveries at your pace, tailored to your budget. Use code GRACE and get free gold with your subscription sign up. And I want y'all to know that I know the lady who runs it. I've vetted her. She's awesome. She's based in the US, and you can call her up if you need some personalized guidance with investing. Get your bag of gold. Everything is linked below. Use code GRACE.